Good morning. Lovely morning. It's been bucketing down actually, but it's nice now. I think the time has come to try to make a drop of cider this year. I'm a bit later than I often am. We're well into November, but that's because it's been so mild and I've had other things to do. You've seen me picking up apples, so I'm gonna start getting the gear and everything ready. It's Friday today, probably go pressing tomorrow. Be quite a short day because we're off out to a gig tomorrow night, and then tidy up on Sunday. But I'm going to do something a bit different this year. I'm going to have a go at keeving some of the cider. I thought I was going to keeve all of it, but I don't think I will. I'm going to run an experimental keeved batch. So the idea of keeving is to create a naturally sweet cider, i.e. one that isn't stopped with chemicals or pasteurization or filtration. Normally I make a very dry cider that ferments naturally and slowly until all the sugar is gone, which I've got a lot of customers who enjoy that, but some people like a sweeter cider. It used to be made in the West Country, but it's now much more in the sort of northern French style, Cider boucher or something I think it's called. So I'm gonna have a go at making almost two batches simultaneously, a keeved cider and a more traditional dry cider. So the next job is to muck about and try to get the stuff ready. And I've looked at the weather forecast and I think tomorrow isn't going to be too rainy, so because what we'll be doing of course is all of this takes place outside and it's much less miserable if the weather's nice. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Hope you enjoy it. So as always, the first job is to tidy up. So I've let my cider shed and brewing shed get into a bit of a mess. Got my old motorbike in here, done some work with a friend of mine, totally rebuilt the engine on that. It's a little beauty now. So I'm going to tidy up, wheel the bike out for now, make sure I've got lots of vessels clean and ready to go. I suppose first things first, start with the bike. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. So this is the cider I usually make. Just found a bottle as I'm tidying up. I call it Cosden Gold. It's very dry but clear and crisp cider. So I'll probably try to make some of that again this year. Normally make about 700 bottles a year of that and sell it locally. I've got a few regular customers who enjoy it. I did sell some wholesale to an online retailer that sells quite well, but I sold it to a wine merchant and beer merchant in the village, and their customers, they said they found it too dry for their taste, even though they like the idea of a local cider. Anyway, I think what it shows is that a lot of people their palates are really attuned to very, very, very sweet ciders these days, and not traditional dry. It's always a bit of a job to guess what volume of bits and bobs I need to actually ferment the cider, because I hate to wash up more than I need because I hate washing up, but you don't want to be short of space once you start pressing, etc. So I think what I'll do now is maybe fire up the tractor, bring back some bags of apples and see what sort of condition they're in and what wastage I've got out in their bags. I've left them longer because the weather's been so warm and we've been doing other things, but also for this new, well not new, this ancient Keeving method, everything I've read suggests that the storing of the apples is potentially an important part of the process. So I think it's apple collecting time. Yeah, well, disappointingly, I seem to have got rather a high degree of wastage this year. And I didn't have a lot of apples because we had a very late frost. So I'm not actually sure how much I'm going to be able to press, because I won't put filthy rotten apples in the cider. What I'm going to do is go back to the shed and just do a preliminary sort and see how many bags I've got left. It might be that I go wholly for the experiment of the keeved cider this year, because there's potentially very little to lose, because I don't think I'm going to be making hundreds of litres this year. The most important thing I wanted to do this year was have a go with the keeving experiment, and I'm sure I've got enough for that. So let's go back to the shed. If I unload them, then I'll chuck the rotten ones straight back in the bucket for disposal, put them in the compost. what have we learned, or what have I learned? Haven't got many apples this year. So yes, I think as per what I've been saying, it's all going to go into a Keeving project. So what that means is I need to mill the apples tomorrow, but not press them. I need to mill them and store the pulp for 24 hours or so in a barrel to let the oxidization start, and then press them the following day. So it's Friday afternoon now, so if I get it all ready to mill tomorrow and put the milled pulp into a barrel, then leave that, and then take the milled pulp back out of the barrel to press, and then put the pressed juice from that into a fermentation vessel, I think we're on our way.